Stay Healthy Show. We're going to be talking about fasting, the benefits of it, why you should do it, what it is. We've heard a lot of talk about intermittent fasting as well, and we're going to be going over all of those topics today.
We're even going to teach you how to do it.
Exactly.
And if you have any questions, comment down below. We will answer your questions.
And we got social media moments too, so stay tuned, coming right up.
All right.
Welcome back. I got my guest here, Nathan Drew, as well as good friend. And he's kind of an expert on fasting and kind of got me into doing this intermittent fasting. Well, I was doing some intermittent fasting before, but I've kind of taken it to a whole new level. And Nathan turned me on to this snake diet. And we are currently working on some projects as well and some different formulations that tie into that program. And so we want to start today in telling you what fasting is, why you should be doing it. There's a lot of myths out there that we want to dispel as well.
I definitely turn a lot of people on.
Exactly.
To the F-juice diet.
To the F-juice. So it's kind of a long story. Just to,
Did I turn you on?
Now, no, let's just sum it up. Like, what is the F-juice? Because there's been a lot of people talking about that on social media, F-juice, within our circles. And I just wanted to say what the F-juice is. What the F? Yeah. So there's this guy that has the snake juice diet out of Canada, and he drops F-bombs consistently, and it's hilarious.
It's so funny that most of Utah can't watch it.
Yeah, so exactly, it's banned in Utah.
You have to see your bishop after watching one of his videos.
And by the way, welcome to our new studio. I'm loving this look. So we got some social media clips, things that are relevant in the news we're going to show coming up real soon. Yeah. But also, let's go. So basically, there's this guy that has the snake juice diet, and we are changing it up, toning it down a little bit, and we're calling it the F juice, or the F
just
diet.
With the words, but we're actually transforming all this into ways that Mark and I understand the human body. I'm training at the Olympics. Mark is one of the best supplement product creators in the world, and we're doing something just a little bit different, creating some new things. We're actually creating our own products to make sure that this is easy and fun for people to do. And there are some secrets here that you guys just have to stay tuned for. We're going to go through all this.
And we're making it taste good as well. So
yeah. So it's so easy. So let's go to our social media moment.
I like this one.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, social media moment.
Yay!
Okay, so here's what I want to do. So that you'll have to scroll up slightly, Stu, so I can see. Yeah. Oh, not down. Down a little bit more. Right there, number 25. We're going to show this video. This is about fasting. It's slightly different from what we do, but it gives you an idea as to why you should be fasting. I want to show it.
How long has it been since you last ate? People who fast intermittently often eat within an 8-hour block, leaving 16 hours of fasting in between. During that 16-hour stretch, their bodies undergo an important change that sets them apart from non-fasters. Here's how it works. When you eat, you store some of that energy in the liver as glycogen. But after 10 to 12 hours of not eating, your glycogen reserves will be extremely low. As a result, you may feel more irritable than normal, a term scientists call hangry. The upside is, with little glycogen left, fat cells in your body release fats into your bloodstream. The fat cells head straight to your liver, where they're converted to energy for your body and brain. So you are literally burning fat to survive. Blood samples show that people who had fasted for 12 to 24 hours experienced a 60% increase in energy from fat, with the biggest change occurring after 18 hours. This is the benefit to intermittent fasting because it puts you in a state called ketosis. And it's why researchers think intermittent fasting could be the key to a longer, healthier life. The process of burning fat releases chemicals called ketones. In the brain, ketones trigger the release of an important molecule called BDNF. BDNF helps build and strengthen neurons and neural connections in areas of the brain responsible for learning and memory. which could explain why a boost in ketone production has been shown to improve memory in people with early signs of dementia in as soon as 6 weeks. Increasing ketones in the body is also a common treatment for patients with severe epilepsy. You don't necessarily have to fast to boost your ketone levels. Introducing more fatty foods into your diet and cutting back on carbs can have a similar effect. A group of people who tried this method for 3 months not only lost weight and body fat, but also saw a decrease in blood pressure and a hormone that is related to aging and disease. But scientists have discovered that fasting increases ketone levels more. Ketogenic diets can increase ketones 4-fold, whereas fasting has been shown to increase ketones by up to 12. Fasting, compared to a ketogenic diet, may have a stronger, more beneficial effect on overall health. Yet many Americans who eat 3 meals a day with snacks in between never reach ketosis, and therefore aren't producing enough ketones to promote good health. Fasting and ketosis have been a key to our survival from the beginning. They helped our ancient ancestors survive through bouts of starvation, and today they're becoming recognized as a way to help keep future generations mentally and physically disease-free.
All right, so let's see if we see our face.
So I thought that was very interesting. I like that video. So a little bit about ketosis. I mean, this is kind of a big thing. People are talking about the keto diet. How do you get your body into ketosis? One thing that wasn't mentioned in that video is that it's a lot easier and more beneficial and quicker to throw your body into ketosis versus going, you know, say you do like fatty foods. You're basically taking the keto diet because they talked about like adding fats to your diet. They talked about eating healthy, cutting out carbs, and that will throw your body into ketosis, but it's twice as effective once you go into fasting for like 48 to 72 hours. That gets you into ketosis quicker.
Yeah, so when I actually tried the ketogenic diet, and so the ketogenic diet almost elongates this whole process. So
yeah.
I was in what they call the ketogenic flu for like
that's
a
not
week
fun.
and a half.
I was taking a product.
terrible.
I was taking this product basically that got you through that keto flu, and it only lasted like a day.
Oh, geez.
So, but and that's a way to go about that as well.
It's hard. The ketogenic flu is a real thing, and it was rough.
And it feels like having the flu. Like you're nauseous, you're sick, you feel like you want to throw up.
What fasting does is it just skips that. Like you don't have to deal with the ketogenic flu at all.
No.
Like it's ridiculous. So here's the deal. When I decided to try this out, I was like, cool, it throws you into ketosis. Let's just see how it goes. It sounds like we could go through hell, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to do 7 days. So I started it, and I felt pretty
Like
good.
you fasted straight for 7 days?
Yeah,
Just
7
water?
days straight. 7 days straight. Just water, electrolytes, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And we'll tell you how to do this yourself in just a minute. And I honestly felt great the whole time, and I was still training. I was still doing my Olympic training while I was doing this fasting. I wasn't eating at all. In fact, I felt like I had more energy in the mornings than I did on days when I was training when I was eating. Now, there's a reason for that. Is because our body actually uses most of its energy actually digesting food. And when it's not digesting food, it's freed up to do other things. It's freed up to use that energy training. It's freed up to use that energy to get the white blood cells to go out and kill pathogens. It's freed up.
One thing, when people experience that at first, they get this hunger because of leptin, you know, which is this enzyme that's kicked out that tells our body it's time to be hungry. Yeah. And so, you know, when you first start in that fasting phase, but once you make it through, like for me, like last week I did like a 48-hour fast, and I was just doing water, I was doing electrolytes, and that was it. You know, I was doing vinegar, you know, I mixed a little bit of the mother's vinegar in there, I did some cayenne pepper, things like that, and that seemed to really help with the hunger cessation. But secondly, I noticed that same thing. Like at first I was like craving carbs, I wanted to eat lots of food, and then once I got past that like 24-hour period, it seemed like, hey, my body kind of adjusted and got used to it.
Okay.
And it's different for other people. So, but
Yeah.
I would definitely say once I was through that 48-hour period, I was like, dude, I could keep going with this. I could go like 72 hours
Yeah.
and be fine
Yeah.
because I was like done.
Yeah, it was so easy.
And I
There's two
didn't have the
moments that were
energy. I
rough
still
for
had a
me.
lot of energy because
Right.
what happens within the liver, your liver stores this glucose, and as you deplete that, that's when your body starts going into ketosis,
Yeah,
and then
right.
it starts using its own fat as fuel.
So let's go back to another social media moment. Social
Which
media
one
moment,
do you want
right?
to see?
Okay, hurry. There we go. Social
Yeah,
media
social
moment.
media coming up.
Okay, so we need to go to this video. Not that one. Not that one. The one on the very right. Yeah, that one. So,
Okay.
So this guy. So just so you know, the United States, we load up on food. We would load up on a crap ton of food. And in other countries and other nations,
We also eat
Billions.
things that make you hungry too, like a
Oh,
lot of
right.
sugar. I mean,
but billions of people are fasting. And in fact, doctors in Europe will prescribe fasting to sick people. Sick people not eating, not drinking? What? What? So here's the deal. People can fast up to 60 days straight. Some people have been known to go longer. So I'm just going to show this one guy. Oh, you went. Yeah, oh, you've got it up there still. So I'm
It's
going to
there.
show this one guy, just maybe the first minute and a half or so of this guy, and we'll come back.
Hey guys, what's up? The Light here. It is Monday, April 23rd, and it is day 50 of my weight loss. So I am at 217, which means I only have 20 pounds left to lose. I've lost 40 pounds in 50 days, which it took me 101 days to gain the 60 pounds. So I figured this was the halfway point, but it looks like I'm gonna lose it quicker than I gained it, which is awesome because I've been working out really hard and I've been eating super strict. But 20 pounds left to lose. I think I can do it within like another 4 weeks maybe. Yeah, probably like 30 days. So I was stuck with the protein shakes and the oatmeal, and then
Okay, great.
I've had some
All right.
strawberry.
So that guy's interesting. So he did a little bit of extra things. So he actually took longer to lose weight than most of the people that I've been helping out with the F Juice group. So this is for beginners, you guys. This is what we're going to teach you. Don't worry about eating anything. This guy lost 40 pounds in 50 days. That's really cool. So when I did my fasting, 7 days, I lost 20 pounds. Men and women tend to lose different amounts of weight. So 20 pounds in 7 days is actually pretty good. So I could have gone 2 weeks and lost close to 40 pounds, maybe 35, whatever. So it would have been much quicker than him, but he's doing shakes and other things, which slows down what he's doing. Here's the thing. When you fast, your body enters muscle-sparing mode. It's the reason I decided to do this diet, because I'm training for the Olympics. I don't want to lose any muscle at all, but I do want to lose the fat. I still want to kind of look good. And so I did this, and I didn't lose...
you look fantastic, by the
Yeah,
way.
thanks. I appreciate that. So I didn't lose any muscle, and that's the whole point. You lose the fat, you don't lose the muscle, and you're still drinking water, so it's not even it's not water weight. You're losing fat, and the ketosis is what helps you. It's really funny. After about 3 days, I start to feel this like warmth in my stomach, like this kind of this like
Yeah,
tropical
I noticed that
warmth.
too, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I know it's working. Like I can feel my body eating my fat, which is awesome. It feels great. And I'm actually in a group right now. We're doing a challenge, kind of a weight loss challenge. It's 5% loss. Let me know if you want to be in a group like that, and I'll help you out with that. So let's go into how this
Well,
works.
that helps with like a accountability partner. Like if you got
Yeah.
someone who can fall out, because a lot of times
Varies
you
here
get
and
to
there.
a point where it's just like you want to give up on it.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I can't handle this anymore. But if you have someone that you're reporting to, or accountability or group, that's why all those other groups like Jenny Craig and stuff like that, they have accountability partners and they check in on stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And if you guys want to join the group, let me know. The F Juice Diet group, we actually have accountability partners in there as well. So here's the deal. This is how you do it. Fasting is really just one thing. It's with F juice. That's it. So you fast with F juice. Now there's
Let's say what the F juice is too. So
let's actually get your F juice up. No, you got your F juice right there, don't you?
Oh yeah. So
I don't know what you thought I was saying.
No, I'm like, do you have a graphic? I thought you're trying to pull. What the F, Nate?
What the F?
So basically, Nate just mix this up for me today. Tell everyone what's in it.
So it's so simple. In 1 liter of pH 7+ water, core is that.
The pH is important, by the way, too.
So you're not losing electrolytes. You're not peeing all day long, because sometimes, actually, Utah's pretty good with pH.
Yeah, no, it's like about a 7. Other stuff can go down as low as like 5.
Right, but this helps you retain the electrolytes, so you're not peeing them out. So it's just 2 teaspoons of potassium chloride, which you can find new salt.
It's called no salt.
There's no salt, new salt, and saltless.
Yeah, a bunch of different brands.
As long as on the back it says potassium chloride, you're fine. And then 1 teaspoon of sodium, which I recommend Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah,
because that's
which is sodium chloride.
And,
yeah,
exactly.
But I like that Himalayan pink salt.
So
it's a little bit saltier than regular salt, too.
Right, so if you're starting, this is for beginners, guys. 1 teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt, 2 teaspoons of
potassium
chloride, which is new salt, no salt.
To 1 liter of water.
To 1 liter of 7+ water. Core or Evian, those are the 2 that I would use. That's it. That's the basic for beginners. And I recommend, if you do it, the first time must be a minimum of 48 hours. The first time I did it was 7 days. And it wasn't difficult. It's not a difficult thing. The reason you want to do 48 days is so many people have these fears of fasting and dying. Like, growing up, I thought if you didn't eat for 7 days, you would die. If you didn't drink for 3 days, you would die. And those just are not even close to true. Yeah. So you drink the F juice when you start to feel a little bit hungry, and it satiates you. It makes you feel good. By the end of my 3rd day, I was like, this is it? This is all the hunger pains I'm feeling?
That's how I was. I expected it to be worse. But
I thought I was going to go through hell. And it was like a normal day, except for the fact that I got bored because I'm not pooping and I'm not eating. So I'm like, what do I do now? I mean, I don't have my morning poop, and I'm not going to my meals with my family. Well, I am. I'm sitting.
I just sit there and suffer.
Well, I don't suffer.
I did it first. I'm like, I want to eat that so bad. But then later, after skipping a few meals, I was like fine with it. And one thing, like I did this keto diet before coming across this F diet or whatever we want to call it, as far as like the fasting, like going for 48, 72 hours. And right now I'm in, like I haven't eaten anything since 10 p.m. last night. Yeah. And so I'm going to try to go for 72 hours this time. Yeah. And one thing that I did notice a little bit of weight loss with it. But I was doing the keto diet to kind of lean out originally where I was eating, and I was eating within an 8-hour window. Yeah. And I was really just cutting out carbs. I was taking MCT oil, which is coconut oil. Yep. And I was, taking a couple other things to throw your body and get past the keto flu.
So this is not for beginners. But
I was losing 1 pound a day after I had thrown my body into ketosis. Right. However, what I like about this fasting program, as far as going like 48 hours or 72 hours, you skip that keto flu, you immediately deplete that glycogen within the liver, and you immediately start burning ketones and pulling the fat off your body.
So this is the important thing, guys. There should be no questions about this. Drink the F juice. And everything else can go by the wayside. Everything else is complementary. There's 2 other things I would recommend for beginners. So every day you drink your F juice. Then on top of that, I would drink half to a full liter of regular just water that's 7+ pH. So 1 liter of F juice, 1 liter of water, and then, 2 things. 8 tablespoons of pure lemon juice. So not any of the store-bought stuff that has lemon oil in it. Actual pure lemon juice. helps clean your kidneys and your liver.
You get the good enzymes
Just
out
take
of
a
that,
shot
too.
of that once a day, and then a shot of apple cider vinegar, 6 tablespoons, with a half a teaspoon of baking soda. So those are supplementary to the F juice.
Sometimes that will cause a little bit of stomach discomfort,
Uh-huh.
but so you don't want to just guzzle this thing like the apple cider vinegar, especially if you haven't been eating for, like a day, and then you like try to guzzle apple cider vinegar with the baking soda and stuff. To me, it caused a little bit of discomfort.
Didn't do anything
but
for me.
I've heard some other people have some discomfort
Right.
with that. But if you're
Right.
drinking it slowly, you should be fine if you just try to guzzle all that apple cider vinegar and baking soda.
I
at
take it
once.
like a shot. So Sherry
Yeah.
Davis says, did you experience mood changes? I didn't experience any. In fact, I felt like my moods were more stable than I ever was beforehand.
Yeah, I felt kind of more calm
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was doing this for a purpose as well, for healthy purposes, but I also felt almost this like spiritual
Yeah.
connection as well through
really
the fasting
interesting.
process. And
Yeah.
that's what I really liked about it, because to me, we've heard about, people fasting for spiritual reasons, in different churches and things like that, or
Yeah.
just overall health and trying to get close, tap into that energy. But, for me, it was like a spiritual experience as well as a physical experience that I went through.
So emotional was pretty even for both of us. I will say on day 3 and day 7, I felt a lull in my energy, and I took a nap, and then I felt much better.
Right. Hey, Rosemary.
Rosemary,
So-
how many ounces of water a day do you drink? So a total of 2 liters. That's it.
Yep.
A total of 2 liters.
So if you're doing that, if you're mixing the sodium, the pink Himalayan salt with the potassium chloride, then you can mix it. That's like per liter. So you'd want to do that twice a day, so you're getting that much water. Another thing,
You don't want to drink 2 liters of F juice. You drink 1 liter of F juice.
and then 1 liter of water. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about the confusion there.
Yeah.
But also, I was going to say we have a product, a little product plug here fast, called Electro Amino, and Nate was doing that at one time during fasting.
No, I'm still
and
doing it,
Oh,
actually.
you are?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So
If I work out, I take it.
basically it has some sweetener in there. It's stevia, so there's no sugar in it. And the sugar, don't take any sugar while you're doing this fasting process, because that
Nothing
will
should
deplete
spike your blood sugar.
Yeah, anything that kicks up those insulin levels will defeat the
But
process,
if
and it
you're
will
doing
throw
this
you
for
out
the
of
first
ketosis.
time, if you're doing this for the first time and you're a beginner, don't do this. This is for those who've already done one fast.
Right.
If you've done one fast and you want to experiment, do the Electro Amino, because actually I use it every time I work out now. Every time I do a training session, I will take that because my recovery is way better.
So if you go to highenergylabs.com, you can find that product. It's Electro Amino. All it is branched chain amino acids and electrolytes. And the purpose of BCAAs is they help our body repair, rebuild, and restore. They give them to burn patients. BCAAs, it's good for bodybuilders, for everyone, basically.
Let me tell you what it did for me. So I did a leg day while I was training and fasting, and my body just freaked
You started
out
getting
for like
cramping?
a week. Like a week, I couldn't sit down right. Like I would fall down, not sit down. All right?
Really?
Like it was really painful. So the next time I did a leg day, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this electrolyte BCAAs because it's not going to spike my blood sugar. I'm going to be okay on it. So I'm just going to try this out. I had none of that. None at all. Like I drank it after I worked out, and it replenished me. It made it so that my muscles weren't eating themselves because of the hard workout that I did, and I felt so much better. So yes, I recommend it. However, do the baseline test, do the 48 hours minimum without it.
And if
Make
you want to
sure-
keep going, then you can incorporate
Yes.
the electrolytes,
Yeah.
the Electro Amino, if you want to do that product.
Yeah.
And it will stop the cramping. It'll stop, all those problems. And you talked about muscle catabolysis as far, because what happens a lot of times if we're not getting the protein and when we are fasting, but the unique thing about this, when we after we go for like 48 hours, we throw our body into ketosis, and then our body starts burning that fat, and you have less of that muscle breakdown as well. But the BCAAs just kind of ensure that your body is not, going into muscle catabolysis and breaking down its own muscle as fuel too. Because that will happen a little bit during the fasting process as the longer you go. And that Electro Amino will kind of stop that process from happening.
Yeah. branched chain amino acids are literally the building blocks of your muscles. So
Yeah.
it helps to make sure you don't.
And they're absorbed immediately, so they don't have to be digested or broken down. They go directly into the bloodstream.
Yeah, seriously, Mark is one of the geniuses in the world of supplements.
Thank you.
This guy is just like, every time we talk about these things, he has such in-depth knowledge to every single little bit of what he works with. So if he has this insight, you guys seriously listen to him. He's amazing.
Thanks, Nate. Well, let's go through like some benefits real quick as far as like what we get out of the fasting. So, you know, we have this, let's pull this one up here. This is just something really quick for people to look at as far as the process of metabolism. So basically, you know, we eat food, it breaks it down into energy. And this first like social media video that we saw, the clip here, you know, kind of described this as well. So basically, you know, our digestive system breaks it down, it converts energy into fuel. We have enzymes, we have hormone levels. So really what we want to talk about is these benefits to fasting, and what we get out of those is, let's skip that liver one. Let's go to like insulin resistance. This is like one of the benefits to it. So a lot of times we are eating food and you know, say we have an improper diet and we're eating a lot of fats, we're eating a lot of sugar, we're eating bad carbs. And so the more carbohydrates that we throw into our body, that taxes our liver, and also we're having to create and manufacture more insulin. And the more insulin that we're kicking out to combat and break down those sugars, it ultimately can lead into insulin resistance. And that's where type 2 diabetes comes into place. And so if we can eliminate part of this fasting process by fasting, we eliminate insulin resistance. So we make our bodies more susceptible to insulin and to these insulin receptors. And that's
and by the way,
come back, Steve.
fasting cures diabetes.
Totally.
Completely gets rid of it.
And there's some other benefits too, you know, like for example, like, you know, heart health, cardiovascular health, because it's very good for our blood system. You can come back, Stu. So let's go to, one thing I want to talk about a minute is like anti-aging. You know, so we talked a little bit about blood health, blood chemistry, and we have insulin resistance. Also, it lowers our blood pressure. You know, that's another benefit to fasting. And
HGH levels?
Yeah, HGH levels in regards to anti-aging. So human growth hormone levels are released constantly throughout the day, and they're primarily released during deep REM sleep. And so when we go into this fasting stage, our blood chemistry becomes better, our liver becomes functioning better, our kidneys, all of that, and then also those of us that are obese, we talked a little bit about this before the show, is this skinny fat. So there's a lot of people who look like, you know, they may have a little bit of a pot gut or something like that, but overall they don't look morbidly obese or anything. However, you can be in very poor health because you have this fat has attached and surrounded itself to your vital organs. And that slows down circulation, it causes inflammation, it causes all sorts of other problems and health issues and diseases. So, you know, part of this benefits of fasting, it gets you on that track. And one thing I want to talk about, Nate, is not only, you know, this isn't like a one-time fix thing. You know, you need to incorporate this into part of like a healthy lifestyle and part of healthy eating and your diet. And it doesn't mean that you can go eat donuts and cheeseburgers and everything else after just because I fasted for 48 hours. And so
it doesn't mean that you should.
No, well,
so
tell us about the benefits, you know, for like, because we talked about this in the past, Nate, as far as like 48 hours, priming that or kind of giving you this start into fasting.
So there is something that I've noticed. So I have done an intermittent fasting, which is different than what we're talking about. Intermittent fasting I have done, and I have done 16 hours of fasting and then 8 hours of eating. And in that, I've found that I can eat literally anything I want to. I can eat ice cream and donuts all day long, and I actually still lose weight doing that. Because in that 16 hours, your liver gets rid of the glycogen and starts to burn fat. That's what it does. However, optimally, the optimal window is 90 minutes a day of feeding. 90 minutes of eating and you're going to be burning a crap ton of fat. So if you can get there, that's what I would recommend. And if you want to do a much wider window, you're going to want to eat a little bit healthier. Look, fasting is good. Working out is way better. That's going to get rid of so many diseases. It's going to get rid of stress, which gets rid of
increases
tons of
blood
diseases.
flow, increases movement. The more that you move and the more active you are, the better it's going to be as well.
Now, I work out a lot. So when I fast, I actually have found that I sleep way more deeply. So I work out, I fast, I actually tend
And
to
that
eat
fasting
pretty
is
well.
elevating HGH levels, which is helping you sleep better as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, my whole life kind of elevates when I'm fasting. Now, we all have a certain amount of willpower, right? So sometimes you can't go into a 30-day fast unless you've really primed yourself for it. And that's kind of what I recommend. You need to be in a mindset where you can say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm excited. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it.
For me, what I've liked about it is like when I started that 48-hour fast. Like I got into the 48 hours, and then it was easy to do the intermittent fasting. So whether I want to do like a 90-minute window like Nate's referring to, or whether I want to start out with like a 6-hour or an 8-hour window of eating, but typically what I started doing with the intermittent fasting prior to doing the 48-hour, 72-hour fast, I was just eating within this 8-hour period, and I would wake up in the morning, I would work out, then I would eat lunch, I would eat dinner, and maybe a few snacks in between there, and that was it. And then I would stop eating, like at 8 o'clock. But I've noticed that I feel a lot better when I can cut down and when we're able to decrease that window, that moment of time that we are eating. If you start by maybe cutting it back to 6, to 4, till you can make it to that window. And what I found is that 48-hour or 72-hour initial fast makes it very easy for you to not eat later on.
So let's be very clear to beginners. Do a minimum 48-hour fast. Once you're done with that fast, when you refeed, you want to eat a small meal, 20% soft meat, meaning you slow cook the meat, or it's just a nice soft meat like fish, and 80% soft vegetables, meaning you use long-term steamed vegetables, you slow cook them, whatever, they're soft. Spinach is really easy to get soft.
It's better for your digestive system after doing the fast.
Small meal. Now, from there, you want to intermittent fast until you get to your next fast, which is a 48-hour, 72, whatever you decide the next fast is.
Right.
So you'll pick a window. I recommend 90 minutes every day that you're feeding. You can pick whatever time during the day feels best to you. That's totally up to you, but make it 90 minutes. You don't have to eat more than 90 minutes in a day. That's not something we have to do.
But if you want to keep your body in that ketosis thing, you've started out, you've thrown it into ketosis, you're burning the fat, and then once you say you cut down to this 90-minute window. And so you also want to watch what you're eating during there. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to eat brownies and donuts and ice cream, you're going to throw your body back out of ketosis because you're going to refuel the liver with the glycogen, and then it's going to, you've kind of defeated that purpose. Yes, you're going to lose weight during the fasting, but ultimately, if you want to keep that burning and keep your body burning those ketones, you want to watch what you eat and not eat carbs.
So again, let's be clear. 48-hour minimum, do intermittent fasting. Before all this, I'd make sure you have a plan beyond the 48 hours so that you can say, I'll do 48 hours, see how it feels, then I'll do intermittent fasting for a few days, and I'll do another whatever. Create a plan for yourself, whatever that looks like. Make sure you know what you're eating after your fasting so you don't just end your fast and go, oh my gosh, those donuts at the store look amazing. I'm just going to eat all the donuts in the world. No, make a plan. Know what you're going to be doing because that's going to help you out. If you want to lose more than 20 pounds, if you have more than 20 pounds to lose, you must create the plan.
And there's no health risk to losing a pound a day.
No,
I mean, that's very healthy.
In fact, they used to say, oh my gosh, if you lose more than a pound in a day, you're going to gain it all back. Actually, what they found is the faster you lose the pounds, the longer you keep it off. It's opposite of what they were saying 5 years ago.
Right.
So when I did this, I felt like I was literally in a video game on cheat mode. Like I entered God mode and I could do whatever the heck I wanted with my weight. It was amazing. Like, I felt great every day. I was losing a ton of weight. This is the same thing that's going to happen to every single one of you if you don't cheat the process. Don't go out and like drink coffee or tea or something. Don't go out and like cheat a little bit. However, the last part of this process for beginners, the last part is if you don't meet the plan you set up to begin with and you eat something, say that's cool. I just learned something. Don't beat yourself up for it.
Sure, just
It's a part of the
restart.
process.
Keep going.
It's a part of the process. Everybody gets to that point at some point, but it allows you to go, okay, now I have stronger desire to do this. I'm going to start one more time, but this time I'm going to do it this way.
Right.
Because you're getting to know your body. You're understanding better what makes sense to you. And that's really the most important thing for the long term. Understand your body.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have. So if
Yeah.
anyone has any questions,
We'll keep answering them this week.
Yeah.
If you have questions, just post them in the
leave
comments.
a comment here. We'll get back to you. And next week we have Dr. Steve Frogley that's going to be on the program.
Woohoo.
One of the top
Oh, wait, we had a
chiropractors.
question.
Oh, we got a question? We can answer that question really fast. Let's see. I just read that if you are 60 pounds overweight, 40 pounds of fat, and 20 pounds of water because the liver is overtaxed, and you end up what?
And well, it has to. Let's see if I can find that.
Oh, the rest of the quote.
Yeah. So, can you read it?
Yeah, you will 20 pounds of water because the liver is overtaxed,
Yeah.
and you end up with fatty liver. So it makes
Oh,
sense
yeah.
what you
Yep.
are talking about.
Completely, yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about like the fat surrounding all your vital organs around the heart.
Right.
It slows down the circulation. Inflammation is a big problem there. So I mean, fasting gets rid of inflammation. It helps with stress. It helps with like what Nate was talking about earlier as far as like disease-related problems. It can help cure cancer as well because it stops the replication. Our cells are
Cancer is a big deal, you
Yeah.
guys. If you have cancer, do a fast. I promise you it's going to help a ton. I knew a lady who had a huge tumor in her brain. The doctor said she was going to die. She completely got rid of it. There was a guy who had melanoma on his arm, all over his arm, and it almost obliterated it by the time I saw him. I'm sure it's gone by now. Fasting is a big deal for the cancer patients.
helps with the mood, helps with our depression. There's
Yeah.
all sorts of benefits to it as well. So, but going back, we have Dr. Steve Frogley on the show next week.
Sweet.
We're going to be talking about his running escapades. We're going to talk a little bit about joint health. We're going to talk about overall health and nutrition with him as well. So tune in next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And Nate, thank you for being on the show today. You're
Yeah,
awesome.
brother. Yeah, thank you.